Hello everyone, welcome to Clear Perspective. I'm Serene. Since taking office, Biden has tirelessly signed executive orders and pushed forward radical leftist policies. But on January 26, for the first time, his long-desired immigration policies hit a roadblock, and it doesn't seem easily removable. On January 26, Drew Tipton, district judge for the Southern District of Texas, issued a temporary restraining order to prevent Biden from halting the deportation of illegal immigrants. This order is valid for 14 days, during which time the Biden administration is expected to appeal. This news is certainly surprising. It is the first setback against a series of policies signed by Biden since he took office. It is also a blow against the illegal immigration policy that he holds most dear. We all know that on his first day in office, Biden signed a bill to provide an 8-year pass to citizenship for roughly 11 million illegal immigrants in America. Then he ordered Acting Secretary of Homeland Security to issue a memo which called for a 100-day pause on the deportation of illegal immigrants beginning on January 22nd. The subject of the lawsuit from Texas is this memo. How big is the impact of this order? If we look at a map of the United States, the Texas-Mexico border accounts for almost half of the southern border. If more illegal immigrants are allowed to remain in Texas, both education and health costs will increase. Texas could face an economic crisis. If we now look at the progress of the construction of the Trump wall, we will find a very interesting coincidence. The uncompleted part of the wall is almost entirely within Texas. That means if Texas wins this lawsuit, it would destroy Biden's plan to bring in illegal immigrants from the South. Besides the potential influx of illegal immigrants, Biden's freeze on deportations has another consequence. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, deported a total of 185,000 people last year. 92% had criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. If deportations were halted, ICE would not be able to hold criminals. That means about 12,000 to 15,000 criminals will be released every month, starting on February 1st. This is like encouraging crime. In an interview with Fox News' Tucker Carlson, former White House senior advisor Stephen Miller said bluntly,
"This is the most extreme directive, I would argue, really in the history of modern law enforcement that's ever been issued."
If Texas could not win this lawsuit, it is very likely for Texas to become a criminal paradise. So Texas' victory in this first step was undoubtedly a solid blow to Biden. In fact, this is the third time that Texas has launched a surprise attack on Biden. The first time was last year. Texas Attorney General Paxton filed a lawsuit against 4 swing states for unconstitutional changes to election laws, but the Supreme Court rejected. The second time was on January 13th of this year. The same Attorney General issued civil investigative demands to Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon Web Services, and Apple. Paxton asked these companies to provide their policies and practices regarding content moderation, including information related to Parler, which was blocked by Google, Amazon, and Apple. As we can see from defending the election process and the freedom of speech to defending border policies, Texas has always been on the front lines. It is indeed the leader in upholding traditional American values among all the other states. This time, Texas' initial victory has made a model for other states to follow. As we can see, Arizona's Attorney General, Mark Bonovic, immediately took action. On the morning of January 26, Bonovic sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security. The letter addressed Biden's decree on ceasing all deportations. Bonovic said, Biden's order was illegal and violated Arizona's agreement with the Department of Homeland Security. One of his duties is to ensure the protection of Arizona residents. It is not surprising to boycott executive orders that allegedly violate the law. Each state is entitled to protect its own rights through legal means. Otherwise, both unemployment and crime would become a problem. Now, let's talk about some news regarding Mike Pompeo. After leaving the Trump administration, Pompeo joined the Hudson Institute, an influential conservative think tank. Many people interpreted his recent 1,384 days tweet as a hint that he may consider running for the next presidency. Joining the Hudson Institute would certainly help him with this plan. At the Hudson Institute, he will have the opportunity to continue to have political discussions and connect with the Republican Party's most prominent supporters. More importantly, he can maintain his presence in the conservative circle, continue to promote his ideas, and build a team to work with him in the future. On January 26, in a Fox News interview, Pompeo addressed the Chinese Communist Party's provocations in the Taiwan Strait. He stated,
"And I have every belief that they will challenge this administration to see if they can find the soft underbelly, to see if they can find a path forward to continue to apply pressure to the Taiwanese people." I hope.
He also warned that compromises would not curb the CCP's agenda. Rather, the Communist Party needs to see strong resistance and severe consequences for their actions. He stated, "We have a solemn duty, as does the next administration, to continue to tell the Chinese Communist Party we are not going to go back to where we did, the appeasement policies of the last 40-50 years." Next, we'll discuss the pandemic. Now, this topic is becoming more and more of a focus in political circles, as well as in the international community. Before the election, Biden constantly attacked Trump's response to the pandemic. Leftist media had also made every effort to publicize how serious and terrible the pandemic was in America during the Trump administration. Now, Biden has been in power. He has not done anything regarding the pandemic, except for making masks mandatory and promoting vaccines as usual. Even Biden himself reluctantly admitted that there's nothing he can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months. Yet, strangely enough, the left is spouting some miracles regarding the pandemic. First, there was a sudden drop in new cases, hospitalizations, and deaths around the time of Biden's inauguration. CNN even went as far as removing its daily broadcast of the COVID-19 death toll. Then Biden began to claim that 100 million doses of the vaccine would be available in 100 days, so that America with 300 million people can reach herd immunity. But before Biden's inauguration, the media reported that herd immunity was a scientific myth. In addition, the WHO cooperatively changed its diagnostic criteria on the day of Biden's inauguration, claiming that nucleic acid testing resulted in a large number of false positives. California, Michigan, Illinois, and New York all lifted the lockdown by opening stores and resuming indoor dining. The surprises don't stop there. According to CDC officials, returning to school is safe as long as proper protocols are followed. Moreover, when hydroxychloroquine was recommended by Trump, it was fiercely attacked by the media, which claimed that it was useless and misled the public. Now, it has suddenly become effective. As we have said in the past, not only did Biden get lucky during the election with all the problematic votes turning out in his favor, he also got lucky after he was sworn into office. All the good news on the pandemic came out almost simultaneously. During the Trump administration, the pandemic was exaggerated by leftist media. As we know, controlling the pandemic is mainly the responsibility of the state. It is difficult for Trump to directly intervene from a federal level. Some blue states have used the pandemic as an excuse to lock down the entire state and blamed Trump for the economic crisis. Now that Biden is in office, all the decisions are reversed. This has become a major achievement for Biden. However, it may not be that optimistic. Since the outbreak of new variants that began at the end of last year, the threat that this pandemic poses is reaching an unprecedented scale. Soon, leftist media will be exposed for spreading propaganda about how things are looking up. Why do I say this? There are several reasons. First, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said at a press conference on Friday that the new variant not only spread more quickly, but may also cause a higher degree of mortality. There is already research showing that this new variant of the virus is not only over 70% more infectious, but also at least 30% more lethal than the original virus. As of now, there seems to be no effective way to deal with it other than imposing lockdowns and quarantines. But even the effectiveness of a lockdown is being questioned. On January 4th, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the third national lockdown. However, data collected between January 6th and 15th showing an increased prevalence of infection. A recent study was conducted on people who have either received a vaccine or recovered from the virus. The results showed that the effectiveness of the vaccine decreased when put up against the new variants. Additionally, a new study published in the journal Viruses on January 25th claimed that the virus may hide in the brain of patients after infection and trigger a relapse in patients who have recovered. This could explain why there were patients that recovered but then died from relapses. This is why I say that leftist media is misleading the public about the pandemic in America. There is a common understanding in the Chinese community that what the state media reports is the exact opposite of the truth. The same thing is happening to American media. When they say the pandemic is serious, it's probably not the case. And when they start saying that the situation is getting better, that's probably when the real crisis is about to come. Lastly, we would like to remind our friends again that our platform may be restricted on social media. Click the link in the description below to register your email. In case of any unexpected disruptions, we will email you our latest updates. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.